Hi Pisces, welcome to your April reading. I'm Marianne and this is Marianne's Mystic Mentions. Oh my gosh, you're the last sign and I'm so sorry that I'm a little bit late. I definitely didn't want to be, but you know what? We go with the flow, right, Pisces? I am following your lead and just knowing that as we enter into this beautiful month of April, we are still in the Mercury and Venus retrograde energies. So, but the great news is not for much longer. So that's going to change things up a lot. And it's really a lot of the reasons that I've had to be late. I mean, you can't fight City Hall, as they say. And these energies are real. So I am happy to say that next Monday, the 7th of April, we have Mercury going direct, and then it'll have like a shadow period, a good couple weeks to build up its momentum into the energy moving forward, right? And then Venus, Venus has been retrograde since the 1st of March, but it was even before that because most of February when it was in the shadowy period as well. And that's my ruling planet. And it's been so interesting because any retrograde, and you can relate to this, I'm sure, Pisces, it's all about introspection. You know, it's not about pushing forward anymore. It's like about letting go and kind of realizing and reviewing things. And people come into your life and they remind you of stuff. And then you kind of think about that. And you're just like, okay, I know what I need to do. I'm not going to do it this moment because it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. Things change after retrogrades go direct, but all that's starting to pass, and we're in Aries season, and we had the eclipses that just happened in the new series with Virgo, you being in the helm of the North Node position for the next 18 months, Pisces. Gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. I do have a Pisces rising, and the thing is it's 24 degrees. And for most of April, the Saturn influences, which is in your sign for a little while longer, goes into Aries and then back in your sign and then into Aries fully in 26. That is... See, I've already lost my train of thought. That's happening all the time. That's what Mercury retrograde does as well. Our minds, our communication, our transportation, and our technology. So my point is that with you in the North Node position for the next 18 months, it's so great. And this month is going to be a lot of degrees. The Pisces in 24 or 25 degrees. I think it's more like 25. So it makes me happy because I feel in tune that way, you know, and for years I didn't even know about my moon and my rising and all the other planets that are so much a part of who we are. So I always ask you, Pisces, and every sign that I read for, to definitely check your sun reading, your moon, your rising or ascendant, which is the time you're born. I would say definitely Venus and Mercury with the retrogrades, you know, because it just gives you that much more understanding. And sometimes you resonate more with one than you do another. So I want to put that out. I always do for everyone that I read for. But I also want to say that due to the fact that I am late, and it's been, you know, it's been an interesting ride for so many reasons. And laughing has felt really good. So forgive me, I'm not trying to make light of the fact that I'm, you know, behind at all, but it's a great release. I'm going to make these shorter. I have a collective reading I do now on Mondays. I've done them for a little while. Please recognize you're more than welcome to join me on Mondays. I usually definitely upload them on Monday. Sometimes they get out on Sunday for the week, and they go into more detail. They're longer. So I'm going to capsulize my readings at the 4-minute mark right now and let you know that I think it's getting a better result too. People are like, Marianne, get to the heart of the matter. And I say, I will do that for you. So what I like to do, for those that are new, I am a psychic and intuitive reader. I get downloads from my higher power, spirit guides, source, whatever you want to call it. Pisces understand this more than anything. I think the strongest part of me most of the time that has the intuition that I just absolutely love and I'm so passionately grateful for, I've had it all my life, is attributed to the Piscean energy and placement that I do have. But I'm going to start with the chakra check, and that is about energy. And a lot of things that have fascinated me in my life and still are very much a part of my life have to do with the energy of life and, and who we're attracted to and what we feel when we walk in a room and what do colors do. Well, I had my little beautiful meditation with you, Pisces, prior to this reading, because I talk to every sign before I have the actual video start, and deep purple came out. Because I always love purple anyway. I always wear it whenever possible. I carry my amethyst, crystal, and I surround myself with it. It makes me feel good. It's an energy that works for me. It represents the higher chakras as well, but it just was very clear to me that it needed to be that for you today. And we'll see why, when I pick what Spirit wants you to know about specifically for the chakra for the month of April. And I will tell you that over half now, I believe, have been the crown chakra, the lavender, the last three that has to do with our third eye, our intuition, our psychic abilities, all our gifts. So important right now. So much going to be a part of the energy for the collective, for everybody. Specifically those with Piscean placements or water placements in general, because all water signs tend to have that gift. And a lot of times people say, is it a gift, Marianne? Really? Well, it's all on how you look at it, right, Piscean? And you knowing that so well, you having a mutable aspect to you that's the, going with the flow, kind of like no boundaries, like, hey, you know what? Let it happen, let it be. Love is everywhere. I care, I'm passionate, I'm incredibly creative and, open-minded in a lot of ways, and yet very, very strong. That's something I really have to bring up. Physically, a lot of times I think a lot of Pisceans have a very small physique. I mean, there's different, characteristics for each sign, but you know what you want. You're amazing when it comes to, working for yourself, being an entrepreneur and so forth. I would like to see what this message has to say, of course, as do you, for the month of April, but look what came up. You can't make it up, right? I mean, you saw me, there's only 8 cards, but that was not the one in front. And it is the deep, deep purple. And this is the 8th chakra, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct? No, I'm not. This is the 8th. The 8th is the all-encompassing, all-one consciousness, which you are very aware of. You've lived many lives. You see through the veil. You're the 12th sign, so you're a little bit of every sign, right, Pisces? The 6th, though, is definitely our intuition. The omnipresent, my third eye, basically. I tap it every day. Let's open that up. Let my gifts come forth. Let me give the most clear and concise readings for everybody, from a general, honest, truthful, authentic place. That is my wish for everybody and anyone watching this channel, new and returning. And I love you so much for taking the time. 6 is about, balance. And it happens to be, I believe it's the house that you're in the 12th house. But for Libras, which is what I am, there's a lot of activity that's taking place as a Libra in my whole house, tropical astrology aspect, and that is Pisces being in the 6th house. It's everything. It's day to day, it's work, it's balance, it's all that. It's been going on for a while. You have Saturn in your sign right now. You had a lot of planets. They're starting to all transfer into, Aries, which is now your 2nd house of money and value and things of that nature. Try not to get too involved in that. That's the Monday readings, but I'll read you what it says about this chakra. My intuition connects me to the all-seeing, omnipresent nature of the universe. Divine intelligence, thank you, Mercury retrograde, divine intelligence flows through me. I am provided profound insights that allow me to navigate life's constant movement with simplicity and ease. And that's something you have great skill at, to release and to trust and to just let it happen. You have that faith, you have that inner knowing. Everything works itself out exactly the way it needs to. And I admire you for that. You represent the hangman with the tarot, right? This is a person that's hanging from the tree of life upside down and is so much bliss, that full trust and allowance, you know, and just the glow around the head of just this beautiful thing. I am protected. I am well taken care of, you know, and that's a gorgeous thing. So in addition to that, you might want to say that if for any reason you're feeling a little stuck or blocked in that way, this is a great saying or mantra to continue to repeat and to allow that opening to happen and to fortify that energy in that particular chakra center for you for the month of April. So it's close to the purple, yes, but nevertheless, it is about your natural gifts that you have. And then I correlate this with the appropriate crystal, which happens to be amethyst, one of my faves. I've got several here. You can hardly see it, but up close, it's just so amazing to think this is in our earth. And by the way, crystals are used in so many things, you know, like TVs, and they were used to help watches. And I don't know how to explain it scientifically, other than to say it's what makes the energy of it makes it work. And it's such a natural, beautiful phenomenon. So I'm going to grab in my little pouch here that has all the crystals from this wonderful little gift set that I got. And yeah, just read to you that it says insight, dreams, and intuition are some of the properties that can happen with the amethyst that I have on me at all times as a massage therapist and Reiki healer at my full-time job. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And it helps with our, you know, protection. It helps to enhance our psychic abilities. I am connected to my inner knowing, which strengthens my healing abilities and insights. So I would recommend that you definitely carry this or have this near you, maybe under your pillow where it's not, you know, crunchy or anything. I'm going to put it in this necklace that I have to infuse the reading so that those energies can come forth for the reading. And I'm doing a shorter version, Pisces, for the reasons explained, being behind, having so many technical issues with my phone, and just, you know, just knowing what it's about and doing my very best to be flexible and allow it, because there's not much else I can do other than feel sad. And I have on occasion. I think it's from lack of sleep, though. That's happened too from the eclipses. Perhaps you can relate. Do let me know. That's kind of a side effect. But that's all, you know, evening itself out, because even though the messages from the eclipses will last for months until the next series starting in September, yeah, we're going to feel that calming of the energy, and, you know, though the messages will still come through, it feels good to take a deep breath and know sleeps can be improved. And then with the direct motion of Mercury and Venus, and then, you know, this Aries, beautiful spring, new year, just wonderful, powerful, confident energy. And like I said, for you, representing your second house, this is good stuff, man. This is building upon dreams and financial security and surprises and windfalls and all sorts of wonderful things. So I'm using this really cool deck that I brought out maybe once since I restarted my channel. I had to stop for about, I think it was close to 2 years from some health issues, but they're well underway and feeling so much better. And this is called the Small Spells Tarot deck. So I'm going to do a 6-card layout, and it's going to be past, present, and future with the clarification of each card. And let me just say to you that the readings have been phenomenal, and they've all been different, with a few exceptions of 2 or 3 cards showing up in a fair amount over about half of them, but making sense with what's happening with the energies. And I do want to bring up the main things that I do like to bring up in the reading that associates with tarot and energies is the full moon that's happening in Libra. And that is on the 12th, the very day that Venus, which is the ruling planet of Libra, as well as Taurus, is going, you know, it's the full moon, we only get one new moon and one full moon in each of our signs. And this is going to be powerful, but it's going to be a beautiful one. And so if you have any placements in Libra, or just if you have that general understanding and that beautiful Venetian, and by the way, Venus went back into your sign, Pisces. I wanted to say that because it's so exalted in your sign. It feels so good. And it just adds that extra special magic. When things are a little tough or you're challenged by something, you've got that feeling of like, oh, but it's all good. It's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. The challenges are lessened for sure by that energy. And so that's a beautiful thing. And then the new moon on the 27th is in Taurus, also ruled by Venus. That has now gone direct. So things are moving forward. Things are coming into place. The delays have stopped. The meetings are happening. The energy's building. You know, we're thinking about vacations. It's just a beautiful time. So we'll start with the reading, and it's the recent past that we start with. And this says, oh my gosh, the Eight of Wands, the fiery, ambitious, fast-moving information, confirmation, you know, opportunities. 8 being the most abundant and opportunist number in the numerology, okay? It goes from 1 to 9, and 8 is everything. And so this is perfect. This is probably what you've already felt because you feel things way before a lot of people. That's that beautiful gift of intuition and telepathic, you know, gifts and just this knowing you're like in the other realms a lot of times. Extremely spiritual, just lived many lives kind of energy. And people can really learn a lot from you, Pisces. I know I certainly have. And I love it. And the creativity is really unmatched. So we all have that ability to bring that out now and get that sacral chakra juices flowing, right? The present is it's a second 8. And it's strength. It's Leo. It's Mars having gone from, my goodness, the longest extended stay of all the years I've studied this. It seems like I don't remember it being like it was. It has very much to do with the signs that they're in. But Mars is in Cancer, then it went into Leo, and then it went into retrograde in Leo, and then went back into Cancer retrograde, and then it went direct in Cancer, which it's still in until the 17th of April, and then it goes into Leo. And this is power, and this is being recognized, and this is shiny, sunny, bright, you know, confident energy. And this is what we all need right now when we've had the delays and the stops and the starts and like, what's really happening right now? Is my business ever going to get to where it was? And the answer is yes. Believe in that. Or try something else completely different. But this is fabulous for what's really happening. And very much in line and tandem with the energies of the planets right now. So I love that for you. So 2 8s, that's like infinity, you know, just continuous. That's your whole really mantra, because you're that mutable sign that just goes with it, knows, and never really, you know, doesn't believe in anything, but the possibilities are endless, and they are. Then we have your future message, the 9 of Cups, wishes fulfilled. You know, the struggles are over. I mean, at least for now, you know, we always have the highs and lows and the peaks and valleys, and that's never going to change. And when you know when you're low, the only way is up, right? And the other way around. But right now, the 9 of Cups, we're in a 9 year. You only need one more for the ultimate, right? 10 is the ultimate. And it's there. And it's like something you've trusted in. You persevered. You had the patience for it. You just sat and manifested and believed and trusted and had this conversation with Spirit and Spirit with you. And it's all gravy now. It's all gravy. So that is fantastic. And by the way, first time that's come up for any of the April readings. Almost positive, maybe once, but it's still pretty phenomenal, okay? And it's something well-deserved. Because it is a time for you, Pisces. Not everybody has that. Not everyone can say that. So, moving along, let's do the clarification for these beautiful, beautiful messages coming through for you for the month of April. We have the 8 of Wands, which is, like I said, fast-moving. It's not, there's no stalling now. Like, it's it's feast or fathom, but now it's just like bam, 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 bam. Answered questions, all, you know, all systems go. And you have the Emperor. Oh my God. This has come up, but it was in an entirely different position. It was the last reading, actually. Emperor, we're in Pisces, you know, the changing of Neptune, which has been in your sign, Pisces, for 14 years, going into Aries on the 30th of March. And then back into you at the end of the year, but then for 14 years in Aries. Oh my gosh, you're going to feel this. Like, you are such a dreamer and imaginative person, and that's what Neptune is. And it's like, it's just all the dreams you could possibly muster and the fantasies and everything. And maybe to the point of air at times, right? Like the pink rosy colored glasses, like, oh yeah, and this and that, and the dreaming. With Aries, it's your dreaming capacity, but put to the, you know, just like with the action behind it, okay? And the force and the confidence, like I spoke of many times now, because that's the absolute predominant energy we're in and will be in for a long time. So congratulations on that. Those dreams, don't be surprised, and don't be surprised on just how quickly they will come about with all the right people and circumstances that have been conspiring in your favor. And, you know, it's all about waiting and being patient, right? Because that time comes. And that time is now. So the Strength card, of course, is just that. And if you felt ill, if you felt like you just weren't able to carry on and this is not something I could be doing anymore, that's okay. There's something coming up that's going to be perfect. I can relate to that in some ways, for sure. And just know the clarification for that is Page of Wands. Information with that's, what is that, a straight flush? Wands are action, boy. That is the Aries, the Leo, and the Sagittarius. Sagittarius is just all about optimism. Jupiter ruled, like yourself. So when that's around, and, you know, I mean, the two of you make things happen just by your belief and your optimistic outlook on life. It works like a charm. And I know because I've done both. And what you feel and think, you attract. Absolutely. That's an energetic thing that's been proven time and time again. And it's great to have that great self-talk and to remind yourself of that. But this is messages coming that are new. It could have to do with the youthful person. That is a, you know, once again, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. It could also have to do with your idea about maybe inviting a new member of the family or child, or you're expecting a child. Or you want to adopt a furry new member of the family. There's an addition. There's a newness to it. There's a youthfulness. There's somebody who's that, or maybe just immature, or stays. Actually, Aries and fire signs in general, they tend to look younger than they are, and they act young because they're just this innocent. Then Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. You know, they don't really have the Shvitavav, is that how you say it? Shvitavav, I don't even know. Point being, they're very real, very much like, you know, what you see is what they get. They're not like they're a little rough around the edges. They say what they think. I love them for that. I do. I love that absolute authentic self. But that's like a child out of the mouths of babes. They say exactly what they're feeling. You know, that's the energy that's happening now. It can be great, but it can also have the part where you have to kind of watch it and just be a little more. Well, that's where you come in. You're the softening of all that. And that's what Neptune going into Aries is going to be about, because it's the dreamy, you know, Piscean energy, but it's also like just not being quite as abrupt and maybe softening the approach a bit. So I like that combination so much. Nine of Cups, the Piscean energy, for sure, the water energy, the imaginative energy that creates and manifests because of the feeling and the belief in doing so. And you have the Six of Wands. Wow, this has come up but in different positions, but this couldn't be better because your dreams are coming true and people are recognizing you and you haven't gone away and they know that you've been there. They've been going through what we all have been going through. They have the delays, they've got the taxes, they've got the changing of, you know, and losing of jobs and the stuff, you know, all that stuff. It's real. It's been happening for a lot of people. There's new jobs to be had. You are in the limelight. Maybe you like that, maybe not, but I feel like it's going to be a new part of you with the Aries influence now. Very strongly in your second house, like I said, of who you are and your value and how you feel about yourself, what you put in your mouth, you know, your money. You never really cared as much for money, and myself included, as the Piscean rising part is like, I love it, we need it, but I just always have sort of felt like it's infinite. It's always going to be there, and allowing that to just kind of fall into place, right? Well, this is more of a, I would say, more calculated is coming out, and that's unusual for sure. But it's like you're really understanding that why would I not want to have more money? What in this world, especially now, to be able to survive and be comfortable, I've got what it takes. I have enough, and I'm going to actually create that in ways I never thought that I would. And you're so incredibly talented and clever and capable that there's just an array of ways to go about your fulfillment of this. And this is the year, because it's a year of completion. So the doubts you had are gone. The new you is coming through. People may not recognize it, but I'm going to love it. I think it's great. You're going to appreciate it. And, you know, it'll keep evolving too. You know, it's not going to end here. It'll continue throughout the years. And I think you'll be really, really happy. You could be writing. You could be, you know, being heard in that form. That's coming to mind in a download right now. But wow, overall, beautiful, beautiful energy. As I said, April has so much to offer us, and it's because we've had a long kind of a wait this year, and it's now beginning. You can consider it the beginning now. Okay, so I'll finish with your oracle message, Pisces. Thank you so much again for being patient. I know that you are. You're one of the most patient signs as well, and accepting and forgiving, and I appreciate you for that a lot. I do. And if you like what you see, there are a couple things you can do for me that would help me immensely, and it's liking the video, definitely subscribing, and knowing that there's no, you know, cost involved. There's no, you know, you can, it's just super helpful for me. It's the best way you can support me, and YouTube needs to see that for me to start being monetized and making this an actual career for myself. So I appreciate that greatly. My heart is very, very appreciative of it. And we'll finish with your message, which is, oh my gosh, this is the Starseed deck. You know, we're all Starseeds, but it says, and honestly, every card just seems to get better than the other. I'm actually emotional about this. Jump in. Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. Wow, I mean, it's so perfect. You know, with the transformations that are going to be happening, you're going to be looking back thinking, well, first of all, who knew? Secondly, I think it'll happen quicker than you thought, although it's already April, right? So that's kind of relative in itself, but now moving forward. And then also just the allowance of thinking, yeah, I'm ready for change. It's exciting, and it's something I can do because I've done it. You know, you're like the chameleon. You can do so many things. Look at that beautiful, beautiful illustration. It's like you're in this cosmos, which you are. You're always, you know, on the other side of the world in another veil. You know, people look at you like, wow, you know stuff. You know stuff. And you're all for it. You're welcoming it, and it's saying, jump on in. So that's your message. And I truly hope you have a beautiful April, of course. I would love you to come back in May. And once again, thank you. Take great care of yourself. Very special time. I thank you. Bye for now.